So let's start. Hi everyone, my name is Sagar Kakkala. So here we are for a DevOps session. So apart from DevOps, I also do like some content in finance, travel vlogging, and also lyricist, and I also do memes. So since it's a wide range of mix, so it will be a bit of hard to segregate content. So that's why I could actually share screen and tell how things work here. To the new, just you had to just remember my name. Sagar Kakkala. And then you'll have my website, my YouTube, and my LinkedIn. In my website, like everything is aggregated using contents of blog, like the index we see. So, 1 second, it's a bit slow. So, everywhere, like if you want to join live sessions in Telugu or English, you could join these WhatsApp channels. And from here, like we'll start the session with day zero today. And we'll be completing till GitOps in this. And same in finance, the live sessions will be in Telugu, but as the blog would be in English. And also in the YouTube channel, it will be separated by playlists. So everything would be separated by playlists. It's like DevOps with Sagar Kakkala and finance, podcast, everything. And just like we had DevOps with Sagar Kakkala Telugu, I'll be creating a playlist for this DevOps with Sagar Kakkala English. And yes, I will start straight away. Yes. Anyone had any queries? Just on checking. S- Yeah, Srinivas, just want to, Srinivas, mute yourself, no? Yes. So we'll start today on the introduction of DevOps. We'll not go directly straight away into the project. We will start with how DevOps came into picture and like why did DevOps come and what role is it playing. And if you want to get into DevOps field, like what projects I suggest and what skills you had to check, and why you could look into me in this field, and how you had to apply jobs, and how you had to like apply for referral, and how you had to prepare for interviews, and like mock interview sessions, these suggestions. Like before we dive into, let's look into a basic overview. Uh, yes, once. Let me. Here is this. Yes. Let's say I will take it in a very basic example of how DevOps came into picture. Let's say you are having a gold shop, let it be a Kazano or some Vaibhav jewelry or anything that you know that you could name it, or you have some jewelers named some Ravi Jewelers or something. Let's say you have that shop, and what happens is like when you are expanding business, right? Okay, everything I had to just setting. Mm. Let's say you have a business called Ravi Jewelers, and as you are expanding your business, right, what happens is there might be a lot of customers coming, and because of this, we live in a digital world. And for everything, let's say even if you see for Titan or something, like everything has its own website. And being a business person, you don't want to involve in this like business thing or anything. So what this person, actually the owner of jewelers, does is he goes for any IT services company or a software companies that provides these digital solutions, that you could call it as like a service based companies. So we go to a service based company, and what they would provide is will offer a website, and to maintain that website, there would be like peoples like developers or DevOps engineers or operations perspective, anything. So that whatever business is happening to the website, maybe the transactions or let's say someone is buying from website or some new feature is adding up, everything would be in the website, and these website, everything would be taken care of this service based companies. But like this is fine, right? And like what happens used usually in the initial days, we used to follow in this method called waterfall method. What waterfall method actually does is, let's say this Ravi Jewelers goes and asks website, like I want in this way. Once the website is completely done, the company gives back to Ravi Jewelers owners saying that the website is done. Please check. And what happens is this guy says, no, this is not what I want. I want it a different way. What happens then? the work again. They had to rework again, they had to rebuild website again, they had to do some things again. Or some say like Ravi Jewelers seen that there is another competitor, let's say some Raju Jewelers has come, and another competitor, his websites have new features, and because of that new features, the customers are going into this guy's website, and as a result, like his business is booming. And this guy, the Ravi Jewelers owner, goes back to the company again, and he used to say like that guy had a new feature, I want that. So as a part of that, what happens is now they had to restructure everything again. So there used to be a gap between things. Let's say if a developer wants to make a feature and he has to like re-level code from the basic level, right? One second, yes. So when he has to like re-level the code from the basic level, it used to be a complex structures for everyone involving. So it's like the review would be done only once the website is finished, and when there is new feature, right? Every code has to be like restructured and it has to go from the starting again. Because of that, what happened is it faced a lot of challenges. The businesses were falling behind. So as for a part of that, came into agile. Okay. So for a part of that, we came into agile process. What happens in agile is, let's say, the same owner goes to a company and like before building the website, right? The website here will be built on chunks of code. Let's say what happens here. Now, once the company builds the website, they will first show the layover, like this is the design of website, first thing. And next, if they are adding a feature, they'll show only the future part. So this is the future. If you want this feature, like let's say the cart feature is there. If you want that feature, we will give. And second part, okay, once the feature is added, they'll go back for review. And if he agrees, they'll build the another review. And if he does not agree, they'll remove. So it's a mix of like fast paced environment. It's like and let's say if again the same competitor adds a new website, right? So instead of like building down website from scratch, because this code is in chunks of code, it will be adding off the website in chunks again. So for that, Agile came into picture, and to fast process this, let's say there is a future, you ask, like the owner asks, and future could be immediately gone there. And let's say if some the feature like the customers are not liking it, they're hating it to the core, and or so he could come back and asks, my customers are hating it, can you remove that feature? And he'll remove that immediately. He could do that, but here features adding and removing, there are two parts that come here. As I said, the chunks of code and everything. Here there are two parts you have to understand. One is monolithic. A website used to be built before on this part, and the other part is microservices. Is it visible, or I think I have to zoom better? It's not zooming in. Fine. S- is it visible? Or I think I have to adjust the font size. Okay. Yeah, my bad, Microsoft. Mm. So in monolithic, what happens is, let's say you are developing a website, right? Entire code would be developed at once. Let's say the initial process, as we discussed, if you don't want to go for additional feature, right? Like if there is an additional feature, right? Entire code has to be changed from the scratch. So it used to become a challenge for the developers as well. But in microservices, right, everything used to be like a chunks of code. Let's say there is an e-commerce website, and the cart feature is different, and the payment feature is different, and there are like for each thing there is isolation. Let's say if there is an issue with the code in the cart, you could still use the browsing feature, you could still use the search feature, you could still add to the carts, everything you could do. only service that is affected will remain affected, and meanwhile the website will still keep running. But in monolithic, what happens is everything is interdependent. If the card feature got some issue, the website might go down. So that's why the microservices and the feature, the fast feature, that's where like DevOps comes into a very helping hand. So if you want to like deploy in chunks of code or roll back that, the DevOps comes into picture. Or let's say in the Google and everything, for every second there might be 5 to 6 features they had to deploy. So for that, like everything gets into a very very fast paced thing. So that is where like DevOps comes into picture in helping of hand all of this. Like let's say it's not just a bridge between dev and operations, it also a fast paced things. And to maintain this fast-paced thing, just like once developer gets the code ready, his work must be only to get the code ready. Once the code is ready, it will be tested, it will be deployed, and it will go for review. And all these things would be done automatically, and that would be done through pipelines. And that's where DevOps engineers plays a major role there. Hmm. Yes, that's where DevOps engineer plays a major role there. And as well, like once that's deployed and the code is up and everything is running smooth and some issue happens, like the CPU load is happening or something is not running properly, and that is as well like where DevOps even plays a major role there. Everyone is clear till here, right? Why, how did DevOps come from waterfall to agile and monolithic to microservice? Yes, is everyone clear?
Yes, bro.
Yes, okay. Taking that silence, there's no questions. I'm going for the next thing. Let me go for this. Like as DevOps is getting into demand, this is what I was telling until now. Monolithic and microservices, as I said, like define. And since here we'll discuss on like if you want to become a DevOps engineer, that's just an introduction part. Like here, if you want to become a DevOps engineer, like you might see a lot of roadmaps. Let's say one person would be telling you had to learn Linux first, you have to learn networking first, and then Kubernetes, and then Docker, and then Jenkins. But this is on my personal suggestions. Let's say you take like 2 weeks, or let's say Linux you take like for 2 months. Like if you want everything to get into the core, it's a vast syllabus actually. You can't cover everything at one. Like if you want to Linux like very very strong, and it might take 3 months. And for Kubernetes very strength, it might take another 3 months. Meanwhile, you should also understand how these things are connected to each other. So that's where DevOps plays a very major role, because if you are going only on a tool based learning, it will not help here, because it's a DevOps, you call it a methodology. So for this methodology, on my personal suggestion, the best way to learn and the fast way to learn and to grasp things is go for any project. Go for a project, like watch the project, what they're doing, and like watch what the tools they're using. Once if you know what tools they're using, just learn the similar tools of what they're using. And here what happens is you'll have very less time, because you already have done the project, it's good part, and now you are learning the tools that are used in project. This will actually like boost up things, and I would not suggest like go for advanced at once, because that will confuse you a lot. Be strong at very very basics level, and once you are strong at basics, and with basics if you are able to build a project, the advanced things will be a very cakewalk. And now we live in a world of AI, so everything is simpler. Even though if you go for advanced, even though you don't know advanced topics, that will not be an issue, because if you are strong foundational at basics, that's more than enough here. So on my personal suggestion, as I said, like there are some projects that I could recommend. This one actually it's without link, it did not add. Here on my personal suggestions, I had added my blogs only. I would say why my blogs later. And Praveen Singampalli here, it's his YouTube channel. He's also a mentor of mine. And also Gauri Yadav, like it's her, she writes blogs on LinkedIn, which you could follow. And Abhishek Veramalla, as you all guys know. And Sandeep Das, even this guy explains with PPTs, but with a cleared explanation. And Tech World with Nana is my go-to channel as well, actually, because she explains with graphics and everything. And Sagar Uttekar is someone like if you are looking for challenges in DevOps, like to see how real-world problems comes. You know DevOps already, and you want to see challenges. Then he's the guy. And Sai Kiran, I've been hearing his name recently a lot, so I've heard the script. And here is it's for English and Telugu again, like because I do content in Telugu as well, I suggested this. And here DevOps Telugu is again it's with Praveen Singampalli, and Hindi I just know only try a train with Shubham, and I did not know much, so I just kept his name. And as I said, like why Sagar Kakkala's project? Because as I said, like everywhere you go for a project, it's more like because I see the projects as well, the projects everywhere external, it's more like it's a complete end-on-end projects they keep. They do not build it from scratch. I'm not like anything, but it's more like if someone from the same DevOps domain, for them the projects are amazing actually. Like those are very, very interesting and amazing. But someone from a different domain and someone wants to learn DevOps, you can't see the final door without you had to climb each and every step, and you just see there's a door, I'll just enter into without having a step, like you might fall down. So that's where I felt like no, this is not how it should be. So that's where I designed a project where it'll be happening from the scratch. Let's say maybe like this will not start with the project today. Maybe on Jan 12th or next Sunday, like every Sunday we'll have the session, and next Sunday we'll start with the project. How I designed the project is, let's say you are joining in a company, and this company you could call it as a gold site e-commerce company, and we will be building an e-commerce project. And at the first, let's say you entered a company and there was nothing called just everything is manual and there are no DevOps practices at all. So what's running manual you had to know, and for that we will be learning first in the next project what's being done manually, the React and the Nginx what are being done manually. And let's say you are in the same company and your manager asks, I want to Dockerize this application as the world is moving further, and next you will learn because you had to learn the same project, you had to Dockerize it. And the next week you will say, let's say, I want Kubernetes. As a manager, someone asks, you had to learn to keep the same project into Kubernetes. External projects are like, let's say, this is a different project, GitOps project, this is a different project. It's like you are going into a different projects. It's like now in this project, I designed it in a way that we are building the same project step by step. So it's more like you work for a company. That's where you come into a company, you work for a company, you are going to explore with the same tool because you had to make changes with the existing things. You can't bring new like without understanding the existing things. So that's where we'll go from DevOps to GitOps in like 20 days. In here, 20 days means like 20 Sundays, you could think, not complete 20 days. But if you feel like I'm going too slow or like let's say we are not pacing up fast, you could anytime you could watch the blogs in order and you could practice. So everywhere the blog is clearly written, and for the practice, the blog has code snippets and the screenshots as well. So that's how I designed the project. And like in the future, I'll be adding up as well since I want like Telugu and English to become parallel at first, and from there like we'll be jumping on to the next step. So that is where we halted Telugu content at this moment. Yes, and actually, like for this project, I even took the feedbacks from people. So you could see in my Instagram profile, like they were there. Mm. Oh, sorry, I had to log in. Yeah, you could open it in the phone if you have Instagram already. And every feedback here is posted only after taking consent. Mm. Yes. Yes, and like if you are willing, not the projects, and if you're anytime you will to know this is not pacing up, you could choose any guy from here. This is the best guys. I see. And if you feel like there are some other guys, you could still go like wherever you find the value. And as well, like if you feel like no, I don't want to go for a project-based learning, I want to go for a tool-based learning. That's how I am. I would suggest like whatever the streams you have in DevOps, learn just one tool first. Because let's say cloud is a very vast subject and you can't go like let's say I learn AWS first and then learn Azure and then I learn GCP. No, that will actually, what to say, destroy a lot of your time. Even if you know AWS, even the hiring is for, let's say, Azure, you will still be considered because every cloud is the same, only the names and terminologies differ. It's same with all other tools. Let's say even in Jenkins and GitLab, Bitbucket, whatever it is, only the names differ, maybe the syntax or the UI. Or these things might differ, but the working methodology for every tool in different aspect will be the same. So the bolded ones are my suggestions if you are going. So automation would be Ansible, like because it has a lot of demand, and these are actually traditional tools. Let's say the cloud was started first by AWS, and the CI/CD was first started by Jenkins, and only then the remaining came. So that's how like I suggest like go for the traditional tools first. And yes, once you are like confident, once you are with projects and everything ready, so I would suggest like how you had to prepare your resumes. Let's say if I'm a HR, what I would look at first was your experience. That's what I said, like your career objective that holds your experience because that's the first thing the HR look into. And what skills do you have? And did you do any latest projects? Like if you are in a company, you are going to do that. And you have any learnings or certifications, you could pick that up anything. And just to save space, it's no need of your schooling or anything, whatever is your highest education, you just had to keep that. That's my suggestion. But I would not recommend ATS resumes because there are like space constrained thing and a lot of HRs or we do not like to see a space constrained resume unless it's properly formatted. Like once I look at resume, it's like okay, I'm able to grasp what I want. But the ATS resumes are more like a single page and let's say a constrained space. So that's where I do not suggest ATS. But if you are going to ATS, like these are the websites and these are the videos I would love you to watch. And as well, once you are resume ready, like till here your project ready, resume ready, and like how you had to apply for jobs, like you might have hearing the LinkedIn and Naukri has a lot of traffic as well. But you had to understand here because if I'm a HR person, I would look at a place like where I can get more people. And there is also a thing like where these HRs, because I have friends from HR as well, they have a target. Like let's say per month they had to hire at least two people if there is a demand. And as a HR, what I would do is like whoever is near me, the first thing is like the notice period even comes to play here. Whoever has like less notice period or 30 days, because if I take him, his chances of moving away from me would be very less than compared to a 90 days notice period guy. So that's where your notice period you had to take care of that. And once like as I said, like they have the target of at least taking two people into company. And that's where HR talent equation, like these people are called like HR talent equation. If you go for LinkedIn, search for HR talent equation, you will find people there. And once you find people, my personal suggestion is like go for connect, 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 like whoever you can. Just and you have a particular company in mind that had to like target this company only. Just instead of HR talent equation, just add a prefix keyword there, like Apple HRT talent equation, and send the connection for them. And once you send, I would suggest like send it in this format. Hi, my name and like what are your opportunities, skills, and everything. This I drafted in a way that I send actually. If you feel like this is not the way you want, you could actually draft it. This is just my suggestion on. You could draft it in the way you like. And here, once you draft and connect, right, what happens is you are actually reducing his efforts. Because if I'm a HR talent equation, I had to go for people, I had to go for checking his skills, his experience, and everything. But here, what happens instead of me searching, you came near me and you were telling me this. My preference would be you first because the thing is, you're right in front of me. I don't have to search for anyone now. You made my job easier, so my preference would be you. So that's how HR talent equation things work. And other thing, the same, just like HR talent equation, more than applying just jobs, if you find like in LinkedIn there is a connection, there is a person that's working in the same company that you aspire for, give preference for job referrals. Because a person like me or someone like if you are coming near me and asking a job referral, if I give you a referral, I would get some amount for referring you. So I'll be happy to refer you. So that's where like go for people and say that your name or his name and what company and what location, and as well provide what wherever you saw the job post, whether the link, LinkedIn link or Naukri link or somewhere, provide him this link. He might ask you some code or something which he could find in the link if he can. And once it's done, yes, uh, here you have to expect that some people might not respond, but most people respond. It's an added advantage if an employee responds. Even those profiles would be considered first than the one getting applied from Naukri or LinkedIn, because employee referral would be prioritized. Once it's done, let's say you are ready with projects, you applied jobs, and now it's time for you to sit an interview. Let's say you are still not confident. Oh, here one more thing is like if you are targeting for very big companies, these days I'm not hearing. At one point of time, I heard that even DevOps they were being asking DSA. So you could actually go and check for DSA if you're targeting for big companies, like go for DSA. But if your target is not DSA, I mean like big companies, you have target just to get into DevOps. I would not suggest go for DSA at initial, because that would actually confuse your learnings with DevOps. Like if be clear on what you want, whether you are targeting a company, whether you are targeting a DevOps job, like based on that, prefer DSA. Let's say, like as an engineer, like now you went, you sat there, and now what happens is at the initial, like we all have fear, like if you're coming from a different domain or even the same domain in DevOps, and you sit there and you get some questions like which you never heard before. Even though you don't know, even though you're not confident, I would suggest go and sit there in an interview, and like whatever questions he asks, like they're being an interviewer, just note down the questions, and after coming back, like do not think about it. Like go with an attitude to an interview that this is just a job, that's not your life. Even if it is gone, you will still get another job. So be with that mindset, go there without fear, and like note down the questions. You don't need to be embarrassed even though you don't know the answer. It's fine, write down the answers. Once you write down the answers for the second interview that you go, whatever questions you prepared for the first interview, write down the questions and the answers that you wrote, and now start preparing those. Just like what to say, let's say first, second, third, fourth, whatever questions you get, take it, prepare the answers. From fifth or sixth interview, you'll start building up confidence. It's more like now you will be able to answer, because sometimes in DevOps or be it any field, you'll start getting repeated questions. More like maybe in first interview, they might be asking you the question of what's Kubernetes architecture, and like maybe at that time you don't know, maybe at that first interview you got the answer, and the same question might be asked in fifth interview. Now you will build up that confidence. Okay, I can do this. And one more thing, because we can't go for interviews every time, here I would say, like if you have still an interview fear, there's one of my friend, like his name is Abhijit, and I think the time now is 5:45 or something in India. I think today itself he has a mock interview session on Terraform. You could join this DevOps Hikers WhatsApp group. He will be sending you the link, and he also even has a WhatsApp channel where he sends Git. I think like now the interview series is running on Git, and now he'll be having the mock interview session. Even if you don't want to participate in an interview, you want to just listen how interview goes, you could still go there in the meeting and see. And moreover, I would recommend like go participate so that your fear reduces, because that's not a real interview and you know that's not for job, it's just to reduce your fear. I would suggest that. And these are some of the websites for remote jobs. And as well, like these days, I'm getting some, because being in a DevOps field, I get like some job vacancies and openings from juniors actually in the group. So from them, I actually take that and like keep this in the format. And all the thing is like if you see in the 15th December, maybe if you see later, you can't help. You just had to like one hard work is like apply link and then just go for applying. And if you feel like there are like DevOps jobs, and you could also see, because DevOps, once you get into DevOps, there are like just not DevOps, you'll have like multiple stream of opportunities that you could go. And to go like where you could go, like the cloud engineer, DevOps engineer, or site reliability engineer, all these you could get into are different profiles. So, and also like whenever I update this blog, I actually notify in the channels as well, which I said in the initial. So you don't have to monitor blog every time. So if you're in the channel, like whenever I update the blog with the job posts, what to say, like you will get the notified there. Yes, like this is it. And from here next, we will be starting with build and deploy of React application on Nginx. And here, like before, if you guys are coming, before coming into here, I would suggest, where's this? Like prepare these questions. Let's see, maybe if you can note down, or I'll send it to the chat. Yes, maybe like these are the answers I want you to know so that you could understand better the project. What's AWS EC2? What's IAM roles? And I think yes, AWS Elastic IP. And what more? Security groups and VPC load balancer. Like just go for any YouTube video and whatever you feel like. Just do not practice. Just know like what are these. That is all I suggest. Like before coming into the next session, this you could take it as a homework or something as well. Wait, let me post it in the chat. Yes, I think yes, that is all I have for today's session. Let me know if you have any queries as well. Yes, and one more thing, if you want to contact me as well, I had updated the blog with like contact us as well. Before I used to address everything in the group, like the queries and everything, but now it's more like I'll address queries only in these live sessions for free, or else like top mate for fee. It's because to reduce my availability there. And if you feel like segregating my content is a bit hard, you could actually search instead of Sagar Kakkala, you could just search Linktree Sagar Kakkala. This will actually like everything that's related with link and everywhere it's aggregated here. Yes, that is all I have. Do you have any queries? I'll stop the.
Contacted Sagar bro, and he helped me how to approach the concepts, tools, and everything. And as he said earlier, and the right approach is go with the project. After you understand the project, just then go tool by tool and learn it. My suggestion also that because that has helped me a lot as Sagar bro guided me. So just that. So that's the thing I want to tell you. Right, that's it. Thank you. Ante
Thank you,
bro.
Niku.
Mm,
Said, is it Said Hussein Sheikh or is it different Said? Said bro, are you Hussein Said Hussein Sheikh?
No, Sagar.
Okay, okay. Sorry, because we have Hussein Sheikh. I thought he also has some prefix Said. Yes, yes. If there are no queries, but I would suggest if you are coming along with me, whatever questions I kept in the chat, maybe I'll keep in the channel as well. Just prepare it. Just don't go it's more like if you prepare, things would be easy. When I showcase, okay, AWS EC2 Sagar took, okay, this is what it does. Okay, security group, this is what it does. Okay, IAM roles, this is what it does. It's more like once you read and once you see, it'll be having a strong impact as well on your. Else, it'll be a bit difficult. Else, it'll be more like क्या बोल रहे हैं ये कुछ समझ नहीं आ रहा. It'll be more like that. If you, it's more like I was trying before in Telugu content. What actually happened is we didn't know where to go, where to stop. We just built step by step, step by step. Now, while starting in English, like we know where we are going now. So that is where, because I was not able to even advise people what to study next, because even I was not clear on what step I would take. But now we had gained that clarity, building step by step. So it's more like once you take this homework as well, for you it will be very, very easier, even though if you go for interview questions, project or anything. So it will just be maybe because if you have a week time, you could take that work. Someone who's starting the domain, it will be easy. But someone who is in a DevOps field, for them it will be like a basic question. Yes, Said, you raised your hand.
Yes, Sagar. Actually, I was need help from you that how to showcase these projects to move into DevOps. Like if you are from non-IT and you want to move into DevOps, like how to showcase these projects.
Okay, okay.
If you
Let me
could
share
help me.
screen. I should have said this in the recording, but this is something that you shouldn't not worry about when you don't know or when you did not do any single project. Like first thing, focus on learning. Once you learned, things would be easier. Like you will have things easier. But here, because this is something I had to take at last session, but since you told already, because if I take it now, nobody would understand. So that's why I did not like once the project is completed, you will get this like how you had to keep it in resume. Like these are the skills you had to keep and like how the project flows. Like say you said you did a project. Like if I'm an interviewer, I'll ask you, what exactly is your project? Explain me your architecture. These are sure short questions. So that is where, and as you go build by build, right? Once you, I'm very confident that once you stay with me till the end, whatever this project, it's more like I designed it, how it's designed in an organizational way. Let's say in the companies, how it's designed. This is something I propose in my company too. So that's the same way I actually designed. Like once you understand everything bit by bit, you'll have your answer. Let's say like what tools you used and what project you used, and because it is something, let's say if I'll just explain the project here, how you should keep this project, I would not tell. But if I'm the person, let's say if I'm you, what I would do is, let's say I'm very strong at Terraform, but I'm not strong at Ansible. What I'll do is, my resume point, I'll focus more on Terraform in this same project. It's more like that's how you keep that project now. If you are going for this same project, right? I would say whatever skills you became very, very strong in, you prepare your resume based on that. Like those points would be more visible. DevOps here works in two ways. Either you should be strong in one tool mastery, or you should be har jaga basic. Like everywhere you had to be strong enough in basic.
Yes,
But
yes,
even though if you are very strong in one tool, right? Because now things are not working that way in DevOps field, the expectations are more. Even though being a DevOps engineer myself, so it's more like they're expecting Python from me, which I don't know the programming. I'm learning. I learned actually. So they're expecting DB and everything. But here, if you come say to only mastery in one tool, it will not help you to cross the border. I mean, like cross that interview question, because here, like in my previous company, I was constrained to work only in Terraform. I was into Terraform team, but my interview went in all tools. So it used to be like that. Now I came to a different organization, and here it's more like now my level has increased. It's infrastructure level. I had to know Java, I had to know MySQL, everything. It's more like that. But the jump starts when you know basics and when you get confidence to say that. Let's say if you are not a DevOps engineer, but you want to project yourself as DevOps engineer. Yes, that there's no wrong in it. But if you are projecting and if I'm interviewing you, you should be confident. And when you will be confident, it's more like when you know the basics of it. Let's say people know what they are doing is there is AI ops, there is ML ops, there are a lot of coming things. So you're just going, seeing the final door, but there are steps which you had to go. It's like the basics you had to go, how these methods are getting connected each other, that you had to know. Once you know these things, right? Everything would be a cakewalk. Maybe there could be AI ops, there is now data ops, there is ML ops, but everything evolved from DevOps. So I would suggest like do not worry about project as of now. But if you are someone like having tight package or something and you want to go, I would suggest like do not wait for me. Go for the blogs. Everything was well written there, and everything like just. But I would suggest like go practice it. Like once you practice only, because here in the blog you might not see any errors. You might see like if I'm explaining, you might see there is no error. I understood it well. But once you get into the field, like once you practice, there might be some error. 100% sure. It's not like you're gonna get the result same as me, because the video I show or the when I come up live, I practice before and I get into n number of errors, and those number of errors I do not show because I don't want to waste anyone's time there. So it's more like that. Like once you practice only, you will understand the depth. So it's just like if you're someone like who want to fast pace it, no? So go for
yes.
just 20 days, like each day one project, take that, like read the blog, go practice. I would say like if you don't practice, it's no use. No matter even if my project or someone's project or brilliant project, if you don't take that, it will not help you. So that's all I want
Thank you.
to tell.
Thank you, Sagar. I'll for sure start doing these projects.
Yes, because now I'm going at a slow pace. Maybe at the Jan 12th would be day one. So that's where I'm suggesting. So if you are feeling that I'm going too slow, do not wait for me. As I said, like if you come to a live session, I'll address the queries there.
Yes, Sagar. Thank you.
Yes, everyone. Thanks everyone for your time. Yes, I'll conclude the session here. If there's no queries, we'll end the call here.
Sagar, just wanted to say one thing, like one more thing.
Yes.
Like if you could help us like to get to know the daily task, like how the task gets assigned to a DevOps engineer, like what would be the task, and if we get into DevOps, like uh not like we are not going to be working on every tool, right? Like we
Mm,
will be given a specific role, right? Like if we are going to handle Kubernetes or Terraform, like that, how
yeah,
it
yeah.
will be.
It depends on organizational level. Let's say now my organization, it's more like I had to work at every tool, and the before organization I worked only at Terraform. It depends on the before organization I worked only on GitLab, Ansible, and other things, but I did not touch cloud. And cloud they have separate team for it. So it will depend on company to company, but as of now I am saying like do not keep those stuff in mind. It's more like
Okay.
come like do the projects, and once you know how these things are getting connected to each other, let's say whatever task, like whatever company you go, whatever task they give, it'll be cakewalk for you. But now if you are focusing on the end goal, let's say company पे चला जाऊंगा, like after that what are tasks I'll get, I'll focus on that. No, that is
Yeah.
step 10. Come,
Okay.
go for step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Once you go for these steps, right? Everything would be very, very easy because I see people, not to go wrong, they were with 16 years of experience, and they were actually, they don't know how to upload file from S3 EC2 instance to S3 bucket. So it was like that actually. So it's more like they missed the basics part, but they are very good
Yes.
engineers. It is like
Yes.
that because of one task. It's more if you don't know advanced, that's nothing to worry. But if you don't know basics, people would like ये इतना हो गया, but इसको ये भी नहीं पता. You understand the
Yes. Yes.
difference, right?
Yes.
So
Got it,
mm,
Sagar.
so as of now, do not think in that level. But like if you complete the project and then say what tasks are coming, yes, I will like address. But now if I tell you, you'll get scared actually. So that is where
Okay, sir.
because you I mean like
Now,
I
for
don't know.
sure, I'll be completing your projects. Then,
Mm.
after I am strong with the projects, then I'll
Uh,
ask you this question again.
then if I tell any task, you'll think like, okay, I know this, I know how to do this. But
Okay.
now if I tell you like this is the word like DevOps engineers would be expected, and you would like,
Mm.
I don't know, can I do it? Kind of confidence gets shattered. I don't want that to happen. As of now, it's like there is one step, go one step. There is second step, go second step. You see 10 steps, you feel like, okay, 10th step I had to, no, step 1 will climb, that's it. स्टेप 10 जब उधर जाएंगे तब देखेंगे. इट्स मोर लाइक कल का टेंशन कल लेंगे.
Okay. Thank you.